Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here of Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 298. Thank you for joining us tonight. Bri, how the hell are you?
Whew. It's been a week, Chambers. It's been a week. It's been a weekend, but you know what?
Bitch.
I obviously am not a fan of the spring forward of losing that precious hour of sleep that I so little already have. So yeah, I think I'm working off 2 hours of sleep, maybe three last night. Maybe I spoiled myself. I don't know. Can't really tell, Chambers.
Solid.
But I'm here, and you know what? The weather, uh, I friggin' love it. Tomorrow's gonna be 70, and then it'll get balls cold again. But we'll have 2 days of niceness.
Nothing like a nice little tease. A little blue
Uh,
ballsing of the seasons for us.
mm-hmm. But Chambers, how you doing, you old bastard?
I'm doing, but Bri, what I'm doing as an old man is I am learning. I am learning valuable lessons like I learned this past weekend. So, I was hanging out with some neighbors and we went to a local St. Patrick's Day parade. You know, good time, stuff like that. We started talking about car bombs. It's like, man, I haven't had a car bomb in like years, ages even. So, my neighbor and I we decided to make some freaking car bombs that night after we were done. So, we come over to my house. You know, I already had a bunch of Irish whiskey. He brought over the Guinness and the cream and all that stuff. And you know, of course, the women get involved and they go, "You better not be dropping shot glasses into our glasses and fucking up our glasses." So we go, "All right, work around. Always a workaround." We decide to buy plastic shot glasses. Figure, what could possibly go wrong? Bri.
Uh, as an engineering student, you should appreciate the density of objects, Jim.
Yes, Brian. There is a little thing called density. Density versus buoyancy. Because, oh my God, the most important part, as you will learn about a car bomb, is its ability to drop into the drink. Brian, these did not drop. There was no dropping to be
Yeah.
had.
Why would you Jim, I know you weren't a good student. I know I had to help get you through college, but the fact that even you couldn't have been like, is this really going to work? Put a plastic on top of a liquid that's already pretty dense.
Brian,
I'm just mad that you weren't willing to argue. You've done how many car bombs in your life? You know, dropping it into a glass full of Guinness is not going to break the glass. That doesn't happen unless for some reason you're some kind of pussy who doesn't fill up with enough Guinness and you like do a quarter and there's not enough to cushion it. But I doubt that was the case. So I'm disappointed on you in two levels, Jim.
You're about to be disappointed in 3 levels because not only did we start by putting more than enough Guinness in there, we started tapering off the amount of Guinness, hoping to counterbalance everything that was going on. Also, did not work. Right, we even went from smaller plastic ones to larger plastic shot glasses. Once again, no good. Didn't help. Right, what I did have was a delicious curdled treat for myself every time we
Oh,
did
you
them.
did not tell me you didn't just pour it in there.
Desperate times, Brian. Couldn't just let it sit.
You could have at least just thrown the shot in your mouth and then done the Guinness, and it would have been at least mixed a little more like it's supposed to.
That would have been a much better mouthfeel than what I was giving myself, Brian.
Fuck, God. Jim. It- I'm there. There's so many levels of anger here. Like this is the Dante's Inferno of anger on Jim's beer drinking because you
Which level you at, Brian?
you're in the center. You're surrounded by ice. You fucked up on every level. I mean, how do you not just make the argument? Why would you have thought it would have broken it? That's my first problem. Like you've done it before. This ain't your first rodeo.
You're assuming I had put any thought into it at the time.
I
Because,
just
when the smaller one didn't work, the obvious answer was, well, it needs more whiskey. So let's get the bigger ones out.
Jim, damn it. You know
Every
what?
day's a blessing.
I now know what part of your loser brew is going to be.
God.
Just curdled Baileys. You know,
Ugh.
I'm actually just giving you cement mixers.
Man, what an experience that was. I mean, I kind of had that, Brian. It was
You,
nostalgic.
Chambers. I, fuck. Well, to make up for it, what are you drinking tonight? And hopefully it's not curdled goddamn Baileys and whiskey.
Right. What I am drinking tonight is something that was a very mixed bag when I was hanging out with a number of people this past weekend. So
Go on.
I am drinking from the Distill Brewery out of Normal, Illinois. Their spicy pickle sour beer made with sucker punch pickle brine. So there we go. It's got the old 1920s
Mm,
boxer on the cover there. And ooh, me.
damn it.
The tart, citrusy flavors of a distilled goes ale combined with sucker punch spicy garlic pickle brine to create a flavor experience that hits your taste buds with a wallop. Cheers. 5.5% alcohol. So there is basically almost no head after a proper pour. Absolutely zero lacing. Almost looked a bit carbonated when I first started it out. Aroma wise is a surprising blend of citrus along with that, that pickle stink, that delicious pickle stink we have. And I wound up being a fan of it. I was alone in a group of five guys who were trying it.
Um, that sounds like the standard for you, I'm gonna say. But
Yes.
to back you up, I also think you got to go into that beer expecting something a little funky, a little like I imagine the spicy part is probably like the tamest of tame spicy.
Yeah, it is. I will say though, after having it like kind of lukewarm and then having it cold, the spice is definitely more subdued and in the aftertaste when it's cold. But when you drink it warm, it like hits you almost right away. But it's not like
So,
it's not an overwhelming spice or anything like that. Like I know some people who can't handle spice at all, so maybe they were getting a little bit of the woo from it. It's definitely one of those kinds of beers that opens up the palate, we could say.
so the pickle part of it, is it like overtly like does it taste like dill or is it more vinegary?
I would say more vinegary.
Okay. So spicy pickle and it's a sour and it's a goes. So is there any fruit notes to the beer?
No.
Okay, so you're
They
really
they
just
they
take
talk they talk about it, but the pickle kind of overpowers everything.
yeah. I mean, I you
Right. I
you
mean
know
it's
me.
it's seeds. It could be the ultimate fruit.
It could be. I look at it like I like pickleback shots, and I know a lot of people are love or hate them. I'm also the weirdo, especially when I finish my Grillo's pickles. I drink a little bit of that juice because I just love it that much. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd be a fan of that beer, but this is one of the few times I'll back you. You usually have the worst taste of every group.
I can't argue this.
But Jim, before I hate on you anymore, this is we are recording on the 10th. Might as well get it out of the way. Say happy birthday to you. Tomorrow is Chamber
Ah,
Wambers. This is when he was squirted out many years ago.
yep.
And yeah, so you're seeing this obviously on Friday, but if you haven't already, make sure leave a comment below. Wish good old Chamber Wambers a happy birthday. We are, well, you are. I'm still young at heart, but you are knocking on 40, Chambers.
Yep. We are recording on my last night of being 38. So, boy, I'm an old, sloppy, shitty man.
with ribs dislocating and everything else going on.
Sure as hell am. Right. The only upside is my older brother turns 50 this year, so I can still make fun of him for that. But
Oh, oh, but that also has to hit you a certain way, right? You're like, damn, 50.
that I have a
So
50-year-old brother. Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's fucked up. It's not right. I still feel like a 10-year-old,
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
except for my
Yeah.
body. Besides the body, mentally up here, haven't
Oh,
matured a
when
day
I'm
past
at
10.
work, when I'm back at work now, like I don't feel like one of the adults at all in any sense of the word. And me and my coworkers are already pulling pranks on each other and yeah, it's like yeah, I'm not an adult. Come on. What are you doing? Look at you.
Brian is classic pranks like, haha, your wiener's in my mouth.
That's a good one. What are you talking about? You're talking about hot dogs, right? Like I steal their lunch. That's what you meant.
Trump's America. Yes, hot dogs. Exactly what I meant.
Well, Well, Chambers, I've been on doing all types of Irish beers leading up to St. Patty's Day. I wanted to break the cycle a little bit just because I've probably overdone it with those. And with it being a warmer out, I actually got a Three Floyds variety pack, and their Calumet Queen is their Kolsch style ale. It's 5%. Very
Ooh,
good. It's actually supposed to be more of a summery beer, but I figure with it being nice weather out, it's perfect. Super light, very it's very hazy, very cloudy. It's tough to see in here. The head is one of those that like kind of lingers on the side. The flavor I would describe mostly as like very clean, a little bready, but super like goes down so easy. And if I was outside right now, I could go through probably like three or four of these. But yeah, Three Floyds is one of those brewers that never disappoints me. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but they always put great detail into all their cans and their art. And this is probably the most basic I've ever seen, and it's still pretty damn good for them. So
that's
yeah,
pretty cool. I
love me
do
some
love
three.
that with the summer season coming along. Sorry to cut you off. With the summer season coming
Mhm.
along, it means like Kolsch's are going to be coming back on the shelves because I love me a good Kolsch, but seasonal. They're never around during the winter. So
I would
I definitely,
highly recommend you trying this one if you like Kolsch's.
all right. Yeah, like I tend to like the summer beers more than the winter ones. Like, stouts and porters are good and the winter warmers of the world, but like you give me a good season for sours and Kolsch's and shit like that. Mm-mm-mm.
But Chambers, the real question is, you and I have been on a little bit of a tear with gaming recently. Have you been continuing that trend?
So I had a slow-ish week for gaming, unfortunately. A lot of stuff going on. So, we will be getting to a game that I may have spent an hour with, in a little bit. But besides
Mhm.
that, I'm just in my StarCraft phase right now. I got to get back to the games. I got to get back to my resolution games, but I just can't pull away, Brian. It's got me. It's got its hooks in me.
Is this going to be the thing that derails you, Chambers?
Dude,
Like,
I
are
am
you
actually
not going to like last year or which year? What I can't even remember which challenge we did, but I remember you were. Well, I know last year, Balatro and friggin' Slay the Spire just took over your life, and I feel like the year before you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do Elden Ring, and then something else took like you just get on these hooks, and then all of a sudden Jim's like 400,000 hours into a game.
I am legitimately. I was actually thinking earlier today. I was like, "Shit, man, I'm going to be cutting it close probably at the end of the year with all my resolution games because it's just like I know I have to move on to something else, but I don't want to." And
Yeah,
Brian, you know me as a man of limited willpower, so
I th Jim, there's one thing we know about you. Willpower, not your strength. You have some strengths. Willpower, not one of them.
not high on the list.
Yeah, so I like took a 2 or 3 day break after beat. Did I mention last episode I beat RoboCop? I know I talked to you about it, but
You
did
were
I?
you were playing through it. You hadn't beaten it yet.
Okay, so since then, I think I probably beat it the night after or something. Beat RoboCop, pretty much everything you said. I actually really love the game. Like the only thing I could think that could stop it from being a true like S tier game for me is like honestly, once I play through it, I don't know if I need to do it again. Like there's not going to be that much difference, even if I tried to like, oh, let me curtail my play style to this. Like it all ends kind of the same. Yes, you can do little choices that have branching paths, but at the end of the day, it's like you know what you did. So, great shooter, really fun time. Highly recommended. If you're looking for an FPS that doesn't take itself serious, and if you happen to love RoboCop, it's a no-brainer. Try out that game. Um, but like I took a few days off. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I want to jump right into another one, and I was gonna go for Senua Hellblade because that was the next shortest one, but I said, you know what, fuck it. Let me go with Plague Tale Requiem
Hmm.
and started that and I didn't know like it's stupid to say. It's kind of like watching a movie. Like that playing that game is always like I know I'm about to watch a more dramatic movie where I'm gonna be emotionally invested in it, like we were with the first one. But yeah, the game is already great. I'm only like 4 chapters in, but the game's already great. It's pretty much a continuation of the first story. Do you think you're ever going to get around to play it?
I did want to get around to it. I was going to ask you, was it the same characters as one?
Yeah, so it's Amicia, her brother Hugo, and that kid Lucas. And uh, at first, you think maybe they're going to take a detour and not go with the whole rats thing. But guess what, Jim? There's rats.
The rats are
Oh, is
back.
there rats? And oh, just like the first game, those games are kind of unrelenting and like you fuck up a puzzle just a little bit and you step in the wrong place or a soldier gets you or this or that. Like so, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. As you said, I also played a game for an hour. That one we'll be talking about a little bit later in this episode. And then I played Contra with my son because had to play a game with him, and I refused to be just playing Minecraft and Fortnite. I said I'll show you a co-op game, and show him I did. So yeah, that's kind of been where my gaming's at this week.
Right. You're not gonna hoard the side project over here?
My effort will go into it as far as he wants it. I look at it as a pet project. So my son, if you follow us on Twitter, you probably seen Jim share it. It's I my son has been way more than my wife or even Jim. He is very opinionated on how something needs to look, how something needs to sound, music used in a video, name. So I think we're Quinn's gaming channel. The number of names we went through, and I had to go through with him. It's Quinn's gaming channel, I believe. Um, and
It is
yeah,
Quinn's gaming
so
channel. Yes.
yeah, Quinn's gaming channel. So he really wanted me to like create a channel for him because he wanted to tell all of his friends he has a channel. So literally yesterday, I was like, all right, we got some time. I'll play Contra. I recorded it. He's like, all right, so now you got to edit it. And I'm like, but yeah, I'll do it later in the week. He's like, no, edit it now. So it's like, fine. He's like, now you got to build a
Ah,
logo. Now you got it. Like, so I did it all in a like 3 or 4 hour span because he's over my shoulder. And I was like, okay. I just enjoy doing it with him just as an excuse to like see him playing a game. I'm extremely mindful. I'm like, I'm not going to curse, obviously. But like, yeah, it was a fun experience. So,
surprising
um,
amount of N words I had to say, but besides that,
damn it, Jim. What do you mean? We never said never.
what? I mean, they can watch the video and find out.
So yeah, it's fun for that reason. And I promised him once a week we'll pick a game, try and play through it. It's more about me seeing him play the game. Like I don't even I purposely in the video don't even say my name. I just let him say his name and say my dad. Like I'm trying to keep it more about him, what he wants to do, and yeah.
I like how you threw him right to the wolves with fucking Contra. You didn't even start like, with like turtles or
No, no, no. Well, so we've played other game. Obviously, we've played plenty of games before. Um, and I said like, all right, well, we should try some like older, like really good games. So yeah, as I was playing it, I knew it wasn't going to go good. I think we were at a level before the last level, which is pretty good.
it's pretty damn good, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, that's part of it, right, Chambers? Like you got
Right.
to show them the hard games first.
Was that a covert little move to try and get him to not want to do this project with you anymore? Like, hey, let's play Contra, hoping he gets frustrated enough to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh no, I already told him. So the next one will be much easier. It's Turtles in Time. Like we've already done Shredder's Revenge and beat that together, which he loves that game. So I
Yeah,
was like, okay, he likes beat 'em ups. Turtles in Time is probably harder than Shredder's Revenge, maybe.
it is.
Um, yeah. So and then I told him he can pick. So of course he has like Minecraft mods that he wants us to play, like Five Nights at Freddy's or shit like that. So I'm like, whatever you want. I was like, we'll take turns picking. But I said, I'm trying to show him the classics, right? Like I'm trying to tell him like this is what I grew up with. Like so,
I just had a weird
yeah.
swallow of my drink and just had like spicy pickle brine up the nose. I was like, whoa, whoa.
So yeah, I really liked it. So yeah, check it out. I'll put the link below if you want to subscribe. I appreciate it. He was already so excited. He's like, "We're at 4 subscribers last night," and then I told him today I was like, "We're at 14." He's like, "What? Who is it?" I was like, "I actually don't know because for some reason it won't let me see. I guess people can private their subscribers now."
Yeah, some people can.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so I was like, "I don't know, buddy." He's like, "Okay." So yeah.
Right. Oh
Fun
my God,
times.
Hassan Piker watches your kid.
Damn it. But but Chambers, the real question is we've got some games to review, and I know you and I are trying to time it for possibly this weekend, finally getting together.
Yes.
Um it's all thanks to our awesome patrons. So Chambers, what questions we got this week?
Patreon.com/drink a beer and play a game, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question we will answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. First up from JD Mains. How I can't read. How have your gaming preferences changed over time as we get older?
Love that question. When I was a kid, um or you know what, let me go to more of my like teen years. I was just racing games and wrestling. That's kind of it. That was like my main focus for a really long time. Because when everyone's a kid, it's the NES and it's usually platformers, this and that. Beat 'em ups was obviously my thing. But yeah, the teenage years, like I if I wasn't doing wrestling, if I wasn't doing racing, I played other stuff like Mortal Kombat, whatever, but like I was so focused. And honestly, those are the two genres I almost don't touch at all. So like I grew into that and now I'm like so far away from it. Um I think through college you and I both dove into Call of Duties, FPSs, things that you could do with your friends. And now with the site, like I've been exposed to a shit ton of different gaming genres, but when I look at something I want to be able to do, if we're not doing it for the site or for a specific reason, like I kind of just like the single player, like chill back and kind of take my own pace. Like I'm much more casual. I'm not trying shit as hard. Like 100%ing all the trophies or Xbox achievements for Dead Rising. Those days are long gone. I do not give two fucks about getting all that kind of shit done.
I think doing the Dead Rising one broke you.
It
I
did.
think that
That
was your buck breaking moment.
50,000 zombie kill thing. Yeah, that was, I was like, wow, I did it. And then I went, I feel no sense of accomplishment after doing that. I was just like, wow, okay. Yeah, we fed off each other though. I feel like you were a little bit of achievement hunter for a little bit. And there was that thing like going on Xbox back in the day, you're like, oh, what's your gamer score? Like how much things? And I cared about it for like all of a couple months. And then now I'm like, yeah, okay.
Remember when that was like newsworthy when like the first person to reach 100,000 gamer score and crap like that?
Yeah.
Ah, the good
I
old days. But I'm sorry.
but what
Yeah,
about you?
yeah. I mean, actually, a lot of the same way. Like I used to play a shitload of racing games. I really don't play them anymore. Played a ton of wrestling games. I haven't touched one in except for that fucking AEW game, and God knows how long. I used to play a shitload of Star Wars games, like anything Star Wars related. I would buy the game and buy it. Like I basically lived off Rogue Squadrons and Starfighter and Clone Wars, Galactic Battlegrounds, or in all those games. Never
Mm.
touched Star Wars games anymore. Don't even care about the franchise anymore. Thanks, Disney. Uh, yeah, I mean, I play a shitload of, like, it's what we talk about on the show. Like in my casual time, I play a shitload of shoot 'em ups, which is something I never played as a kid. I play a lot of Metroidvanias anymore, which is another genre that I just never played when I was younger. I still enjoy me a good beat 'em up here and there. I've had a little phase of RPGs, but those really go in and out for me. And like you said, the Call of Duty for that took a big chunk of our lives. Left 4 Dead, Army of Two, like the co-op shooters, and then of course I had my obsession with Guitar Hero for a good couple years in my late teens. So yeah, right now at this point, casually, it's a lot of yeah,
Card games.
a lot of shooters and a lot of card games and StarCraft. A lot of StarCraft. That's never changed from little young Jimmy.
Yeah, I do get on those hits where I want to go back to my RTSs, my once again, I don't know if you consider like Rome Total War in those games if they're 4X or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know what that genre really is, but every so often I get on my kicks too. And when I get in, I go deep. Like I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna do all these campaigns that take a gazillion hours and then it fades away and I'm like, okay, I've had my fill. But yeah.
I'll I'll hopefully get there sooner than later. But Brian, there's nothing like There's nothing like playing a game and you get cheesed and someone does a proxy barracks. All of a sudden you have like 10 Marines at your door at like the 3 minute mark and you're like, what the fuck? Then because you scout the other base and you're like, their build order is a little weird. Something's going on. Something's fucky. And you know it's there, but you just can't find it in time. And then you're dead. God, it's a thrill, Brian.
I mean, yeah, I was actually going to say all that exact same stuff. I know exactly what you mean, Jim, from all my hours at StarCraft.
Exactly.
Jim, I'm just going to try StarCraft and become Diamond League in a week.
You probably will, knowing you and your bullshit. I've accepted that in my life.
You're like, what you used to say to me all the time with Tetris? You're only winning because there's not enough squiggles. And I'm like, but Jim, look at all my top leaderboards.
I can't even blame the squiggles. StarCraft's regional pairing for online is very good. I don't play the squiggles, Brian. They be even more powerful than what I'm dealing with. I won't even be making it to the 10-minute mark in any games probably. I'm sure a South Korean Silver Leaguer and a North American Silver Leaguer are worlds apart in skill level.
I'm very curious what my future self will be playing. Because here's the deal. I'm also having a little bit of a regression because of my son, because like we're replaying all the old games. So there's a little bit of that going on too. And I know my taste is going to change based on what he wants to play with me. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Next up from Todd Howard Sucks. Would you rather live in a nice penthouse in a big city or a nice cabin in the woods?
Oh, cabin in the woods. Penthouse in the city's cool, but like I don't working in the city for past 15 years. I've been in plenty of big city that appeal is gone for me. And I'm someone who like legit me and the wife used to always like go out to really nice restaurants and do this and that. And it is really cool and it's fun. But give me a cabin in the woods, give me nature, give me outdoors. That's where I'm at mentally. Give me my seclusion. If I want to
I
find people, I'll find people.
I would do penthouse on the only way I'm doing penthouse, which obviously means you have to be rich to do that. So, you know what? I'm kind of done with the grind, Brian. I like to just sit back and enjoy the finer things. So let me just live in my perch. I can still be away from people. I don't have to be around the commoners and the wages. All right. The help can stay down there. I could be up in my ivory tower. I can always go out to the cabin, go out to the country, have a nice weekend away, enjoy it, and then just come back to my life of luxury, Brian. I'd be fine with that.
Interesting. I would not have taken you for a penthouse boy.
I mean, I would like to sit here and pretend that I can be a woodsman and not be bored off my tit being in the woods day after day, but I don't think I can make that promise.
Okay. I mean, I also look at it like I can just drive into the city.
You
Like
could do that.
I don't look at it like so far out that there's no civilization.
Nah, Brian, if you're doing the cabin in the woods, you gotta do it right. You can't do 20 miles into the suburbs cabin. That's not real cabin living. All right.
You can't do penthouse and then be secluded. You're going to be surrounded by people, and then you're going to be like, I don't want to drive, so you're going to be on public transit, and you're going to hate it.
Right. Why would I ever drive anywhere or need anything when everything's so close to me in a 2 mile radius? The good news is everything will be around you. The most driving or training I'll have to do will be going to like a sports game. And if I'm in Center City, I would be right there in 10 minutes. Take the Paco line, be with the normal folk, be like, hi, fellow sportsmen.
Yeah, no, Jim, you're still going to have to walk through what I walk through all the time. You're not going to like it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Right, look, right. Every once in a while you go, it's been about 15 years since I've seen a homeless guy beating off on the side of a street. So you get
Fuck you.
You get nostalgic for things, Brian.
Some things are better left in nostalgia, Jim. That's
Look, as long as you don't get the wah thrown at you, it's good. It's fine.
Fuck, Jim.
But yeah,
good question, though.
Very good question. So yes, that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week. Thank you once again to everyone for the support as always. Like Brian said, this weekend we will finally be getting together, knock on all the goddamn wood, to get these reviews out of the way. Of course, we still owe good old JD his X-Men review, which we'll be getting to. So Yes, get those questions in. Check out the tiers. Get the support over to there. We really appreciate anything. Even if you want to just join for free, every once in a while something goes up there, like my feeties. You sick, sick bastards.
Damn it, Jim. No, but guys, to Jim's point, we really appreciate all the support. Make sure get your questions in for a new supporter. We really appreciate it. Get voicemails in. Do whatever you can, and depending on our tiers, we we definitely got to get together with Nick. I know
Oh,
we're already behind a month, but we got to get together because we do have a movie chosen.
right.
So
New
yeah,
Year, New Me did not last long. Shit. But
sorry, we
yes,
can
we
double up in March. That's all I'll say.
we can do
We can
that. And
double it
speaking
up.
of new supporters over on the Patreon, huge shout out to Randy from the Rich Dickman Show signing up for the $10 tier. So I think he might have found a loophole here, Brian, because he
Go
previously
on.
signed up under the show, but now he's signing up as himself. So
Okay.
methinks he gets him a movie and a game request in there. I think it has to be done.
That's fair. That's
Yep.
absolutely fair.
So Randy, get
So
that
if
shit
you
on
and
over to
I,
us.
yeah, and if you and I, like I said, if our goal, if we're able to get together this weekend, we'll be blasting out a lot of reviews, getting them done. We'll have a quicker turnaround this year. I can
Hey,
guarantee that.
hey, Bry, pop quiz.
Yes.
What
Yes.
movie do you remember that Randy picked for us before?
The Room.
Incorrect. Tiptoes.
He was Tiptoes?
He was
Who was The
Tiptoes.
Room?
I think it was JD Maines.
Was it?
I
I
believe
thought
so.
it was the inverse of that, but okay, I believe it. Either one. You know, Tiptoes is I take blame for mentioning that previously, so I'll
Right.
still take that over to The Room.
Apparently, great minds are thinking alike at that point. All right.
But yeah, guys, thank you again for support. Get those questions in, and we truly appreciate it. All right, Chambers. So it's that time of the episode. We're going to go over the game that I chose actually this week. Once again, in the month of March, we are going over NES games, and my first choice was The Guardian Legend. Um, Jim, did you have experience with this before I picked it?
I'd only spent a little bit of time with it before. It's one of those ones that I heard from everyone was like this super awesome gem on the NES library. I went to a store, picked it out for use. Those of you on the video feed, you can see me holding the cartridge. And it's one of those ones where I spent like 15 minutes with it, made sure it worked, put it back on the shelf, went, I'll get around to that. And so it went. So yeah, this is the most time I've ever put into it.
So, full disclosure for both my choices, I went out of my way to pick games that I hadn't played before, I kind of heard of, but are usually ranked as some of the best on the NES. And I was like, there's so many best of NES games that I have played. So, this one in particular, I was like, oh, I've never actually played through that. So, I didn't know shit about what style of game it is, whatever. My quick analysis of the game itself and what it is. I almost want to call it a combo of like Legend of Zelda meets Gunneck. Like it's a shooter and an exploration game where you're a fighter jet style thing that turns into a girl who explores a land, and then you go into these specific corridors and you turn back into the jet. Ends with a boss fight, and you keep exploring. And the big thing about the exploration is it's pretty cryptic at first. Like I didn't know what the fuck I had to do exploring the map, and it wasn't until I beat like one of the first bosses that you're like, oh, you unlock a key, and I'm like, oh, that's what the fuck these symbols are all over the place.
Yeah.
And then it opens up more of the map. And then you can also get upgrades for your weapons. Like you can find in the 1 hour I had, I must have had like 12 different types of shots for my chick and jet. And there's like a little power meter. So this is a game I really wish I could have I would have read or known a little bit more about because the amount of time I spent trying to get to corridor 2 and then when I got to it, I realized how fucking difficult it was. And I was like, oh, the corridor numbering doesn't matter. Like corridor 11 and 12 are two more I beat, which I think in total I beat three corridors. Um, I was like, oh yeah, like the numbering doesn't mean shit. Like it may mean something, but it's not in progressive order of how difficult it is. So yeah. the game I would say is actually fairly difficult. And the first level starts you off going fucking fast as hell. And I was like, holy shit, is this how the whole game's going to be? But it's more traditional in the style of enemies you're going to be fighting. Soundtrack's awesome. I think it's really well done. The graphics are pretty good. You end up seeing a ton of reused assets, at least in the three quarters I did, like over and over again, like these piranhas and this other shit. But I enjoyed it. I think it is an interesting one that I would like to spend a little more time in, but I could see where that like formula would start to get a little much for me. So, what was your take on it, Chambers?
You got a lot farther in it than I did. I beat Corridor 1, got myself to Corridors 2 and 12. And like you, I got to 12 first, and I was like, all right, this is harder. So let me look around again. And then I found Corridor 2, and I was like, holy shit, this is way harder than
This
12.
is what I think I did the same thing. Yeah. So, was quarter 12 the ocean one, like the
Yeah,
water
I think
one?
so. Yeah, it was at least more blue in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did the same. Like, I know corridors 11 and 12 were the other ones I beat outside of corridor one. And yeah, like I said, I was like, okay. And like each thing, like there, I also ended up finding the thing that lets you have 150 points. What I forget the currency in the
Chips.
game. Chips. I found that thing. I was like, oh, now I can go unlock more of those power ups from the first. Like, you buy shit from basically a balloon guy. Like, that's what I kept calling them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I've just never saw a style game like that where you were switching back and forth. There was. What is that one game where you go from tank to jet?
Uh, what, like
You
Ranger
know,
X on the Genesis? Or,
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Like, I remember another game where you're a vehicle, more platforming to a shooter level style.
oh, or maybe Blaster Master? That's probably what you're thinking
Blaster
of.
Master. Yep, that's it. But yeah, um, yeah. What else did you think of it? I mean,
Yeah, like you, I love the cool open-ended design. I think I spent way too much time just dicking around and exploring, even though I still somehow found, like, I never found that big 150 chips. Like, I was struggling to find any. But I think by the time I ended my hour, I only had like 150 chips total. I just like spent. It took me way too long to realize that like I had to go to all the different spots and do the exploring because I was just being a stubborn asshole and be like, no, I'm good enough to just beat these shooter levels, just like underpowered as is. So I just kept going back there again and again. Um, yeah, I mean the like you said, the gameplay is super fast. It performs really well. So
oh
for
yeah.
those there who don't know, it's another game by Compile, and they were masters of the shoot 'em up genre. So it really pushes the NES to some of its like best performance you're going to see from a game. Uh, yeah, I love slash hate. Basically, I wish I started playing it on my Retron because this is one of those old NES games where the save system is like a 20 character ungodly combination of passwords. So it's like I took a
Mhm.
picture of my password before I like stopped playing. So if I wanted to go back, like I would definitely start up on my Retron and just start save stating from there because screw going through all that. But yeah, I mean, the music was great. The graphics were cool. It's a cool concept. Like you said, you don't see a ton of non-linear designed shoot 'em ups like that. Uh, yeah, it's awesome. It's one I actually really, if I wasn't so entrenched in StarCraft right now, I probably would have kept playing it to try and beat it because I was really
Mm.
liking what I was playing.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree. I mean, it's just a really interesting game that like the progression seems annoying, but probably fair. I feel like it was fair, more fair than like Gunnak is obviously strictly way more linear. I think Gunnak had better power ups. Like I did not enjoy the power ups in this game because like you basically have shoot. You can upgrade your main shoot if you get to a certain number of chips, but then as soon as you use them, you get downgraded, and then you have your special weapon, and some of them are okay, but like they feel underpowered. And I know they get powered up as you go, but like compared to Gunnak, where like you had the bombs and your actual weapons, like that felt more like a shooter I was used to.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a non-conventional, and I'm going to assume they did that with the power ups just to make it to keep the challenge going, I guess.
Yeah.
especially with the nonlinear nature of it. So, like, in case you start exploring, you power up, and then all of a sudden you're blasting through a bunch of the corridors, and you're like, oh, what even is this? So, I can see kind of what they were going for there. It's not perfect, but it's a very, very cool game.
So Chambers, I think it's safe to say we both recommend it.
Yep, definitely recommended.
Nice. Nice.
So, is
So
next
yeah,
week?
next week it's Chambers' pick, which I don't know how far we're gonna get in an hour, but this is the way Jim's mind works. And you know what?
Right, much
I
like a plastic shot glass and a car bomb, this is the plastic shot glass of hour-long reviews, of hour-long gameplay reviews.
I love it, Jim. So I don't want to give a spoiler. You'll just have to come back next week and see what's the next game we try out.
Hey.
All right, Chambers, though. Let's move on. Let's move on to something that I think I know I was a little surprised about, but there is a new Xbox apparently in development, and it's I don't even know how to describe. Like I hate how it's described. So I'm showing the tweet, but basically it says the next Xbox is a PC and a TV friendly shell for 2027. No dev kits are available yet. Developers are targeting specific specs for now. Designed to be a PC like console with a TV friendly interface. Okay, right off the bat, you can just plug your PC into TVs anyway. So I don't know what TV friendly interface means. Um, Other than maybe it's just smaller and can fit next to a TV. Because that's the part that fucks me up. What the fuck does TV friendly shell mean? Like, aren't most of these gaming consoles basically mini powered PCs at this point? Like,
Yeah,
what's going to be so different about this that's a PC and a TV friendly shell? Like, I don't get what the fuck. Like, it bothers me because I'm like, are you just describing a modern console? Like it's been? Like, what are you talking about?
my favorite comment is Adam Kalzer, who says, "A whaty what?" So basically, to your point, yeah, like a ton of people have said when they saw this. So this was apparently a summary of something that Jez Corden, who's a game journalist on Twitter, made a story of. I tried to go through his timeline, but he just posts too much, and I just didn't feel like scrolling back that far. But I'm taking his tweet at its word, and
Damn it.
yeah, a TV friendly interface for a PC friendly shell. Yeah, that is every game console of like the last two generations, like you said. I mean, the closest competitor, I guess you would say, would be Steam when they were doing their Steam boxes that were trying to be PC but consoleized, and no one wanted it. I don't get what this is. I just don't get it. Like, are
I
you? It doesn't have any disk drive, obviously, which you have to expect at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's a big box with a little USB-C thing in the front. How's that different than what we have now?
and that, like I get the idea. Okay, like general PCs, you need a keyboard, you need a mouse, but like other than this just being a very high powered console, what else makes it PC like? That's the part I'm trying to like or did somebody just think this sounds better? Like I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I, I don't get it. And if you're looking through the comments, everyone's kind of just giving it a whole what? Because it's like it's not really going to have like it'll have some exclusives because it's the Xbox brand and they bought so much shit. But I mean, if that's also going to be on a PC, like, you know what? It's going to be what a console always is. Or these days, it's a less maintenance heavy PC, less
Yeah.
expensive. But like, if it's going to run and be powerful, and people are going to expect it to be as strong as a PC, like a small box like that, how do you keep that from like even a Series
Overheating.
X for as big as that is? That thing overheats. The PS5 overheats. If you like, how are you going to keep that from just melting itself? I don't get it.
Maybe you just have it with no disk drive, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you definitely have to do that, but I mean, a motherboard and a graphics chip that are really pushing out some 4K ray trace bullshit, that's going to be a hot son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I said
And I,
for me, the bigger surprise is that they're just announcing something's coming out at all. Because I think we both were like, well, maybe they're done. But if this turns out to be true, then okay, they're staying in the hardware game at least for another generation.
Yeah, and I mean, they said before that they were not abandoning their hardware side. So, I mean, this is a stark departure, but let's face it, what they've been doing the past few generations hasn't worked. So, one person had an interesting thing where they said if this runs Steam, then it'll be a game changer. Opens the Xbox to a lot more opportunity. So,
Mm.
it might be like they have all the money in the world. So, it probably would behoove them to come into some kind of deal with Valve and Steam. Because to me, for Steam, that would just be printing money. Just license your fucking ecosystem out, basically, or as an app.
Yeah.
But then again, that would kind of directly fight against Game Pass, which is Xbox's bread and butter. So I don't know if that incentive would really be there for Microsoft.
Unless for some reason, no, you can't have Xbox Game Pass on Steam.
Yeah, and
Unless the
you can't take Game Pass away from PCs now. Like it comes built in. Like it came with my Windows that I have on my new computer.
No, I mean I like that idea as something that also could make it more PC like, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I just like I said, I think it's cool that they mentioned that this is coming out at all. So I'm down for it. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Shut up,
Yeah.
Jim.
It all
Well,
damn it.
listen, we go from Xbox, but let's talk about. We already know for sure Nintendo Switch 2 right around the corner. And according to IGN, their recent filings reveal NFC support, which may suggest that amiibos are going to work with it. Well, Jim, for the layman, what's NFC mean?
Near field communication. So it basically means you put a chip near a reader and it reads the chip.
Yeah. Is there anything else Nintendo does? Like, here's the deal. Like, I'm so out of it with the amiibo stuff. Were the amiibos for like just a handful of games, or was it like one or two games?
I mean, it was for a good amount of games, but obviously, as like the amiibo craze died down, it wasn't as compatible with as many games. I guess now they still release amiibo for a lot of their first party stuff and even some second party things, but yeah, it's in a weird space. Like obviously, the hugest push for it was during the 3DS and Wii U days when it first came out, and it was still alive through the entire Switch generation. Just it only worked with so many games, really.
Did you ever get amiibos other than I feel like you have I feel like you have some, but that's just collection. Did you ever get amiibos for something that actually you used?
The only amiibo I've ever used was the built-in one on the Mario cereal box.
Damn it, Jim.
What? It was a selling
That's a
point.
what?
The cereal
That's
sucked,
a
but it was an amiibo. That's why I still have a box of 7-year-old cereal on my shelf over here. I'm sure a mouse will get to it one day.
Are you just trying to save that and then eventually sell it to LA Beast?
Yes. Shut up.
Um, I think this is here's the deal. What I've been very happy about finally with the Switch 2 announcements that have been coming out is that we said they're going to be backwards compatible, which I do think is huge. If they're really opening this up, the question I have for you is this a potential push to just continue with the amiibos, or is it strictly for backwards compatibility with the existing ones?
Probably both. I mean, there's no there. I don't think amiibo is a big enough thing that they would push to backwards compatible if they weren't planning on keeping it going. And I
Yeah.
mean, let's face it, it's little cheap chips inside cheap plastic toys that they sell for $15 a pop. So it's probably still enough of a profit maker for Nintendo that they're like, yeah, we'd be stupid not to keep doing this. It's not a
Yeah.
fad anymore, but it probably still has its hardcores that'll go out and buy every single
Oh,
one.
they got to get the thumbnail, Jim, of them in front of a big pile, like largest amiibo collection.
Yep.
And I got it in three varieties.
Well, they got to get the match with their Switch variant, Brian.
So
But
yeah,
there There are also other things to come from this article. Filings confirm with the FCC that you can charge the Switch 2 from either its top or bottom USB-C ports. So fans expected following the console's official reveal. It also supports Wi-Fi 6 networks with up to 80 megahertz of bandwidth, up to Wi-Fi 5 on the original Switch. There's no mention of the filings on Wi-Fi 7 or 6, The Verge pointed out. And it is still rated for a maximum of 15 volts, but the filings mention that the AC adapter can go up to 20 volts. So the charging speed is still basically unknown. But and the patent suggesting that the controllers will be attached upside down, or that they can be. So since it's supposedly going to be mechanically based, you can kind of decide whether you want like your earphone plug port on the top, on the bottom, where you put your games and shit like that, or what side you want to charge from, or where you want the speakers to be. So that's kind of cool, I guess. And it's going to have a gyroscope like an iPhone, which could also be annoying because that gets annoying on an iPhone. Little trinkets, I don't think they're ever going to do that much with, like they did. It'll be like the infrared sensor all over again that wasn't used except for like Labo.
So I am if you know me, Jim, you know one thing I love is options. They seem to be giving a lot of options with this. I how much you want to bet some jackass tries to like I'm gonna double charge it and plugs in both the top and the bottom at the same time and short circuits it or something?
Oh yeah, like knowing early Switch users. Like I don't know how many Switch users fucked up their Joy-Cons so much with the little slide-on handles, like wrist things. So many people fucked that up, like originally. Pardon me. And I don't know how. And like all the
People
reports of the
aren't as
Switches,
sensitive as you are with your stuff, Jim.
I guess not. Or like all
You
the
baby your
people,
stuff.
I do baby my shit. I take care of my stuff. I'm the anti-you when it comes to things.
No,
So
you overly baby it. You bubble boy
you
all your
underly
stuff.
baby. All right.
I am who I am.
All right, Popeye. Don't you fucking Popeye me. You're a sailor. But yeah, I mean, like the early days of the Switch, you had all those reports about like, the kickstands breaking off, which makes sense. That was just cheap plastic. Or like some of them already bubbling inside of, not like bubbling, but like expanding and separating from the screen and shit like that early on. So I don't know if they just
Oh,
had lemons or if they were just doing some absolutely insane shit. I don't know.
crazy
I,
shit.
yeah, obviously a lot of the early third party stuff was just bad for the system. So that could have been a
Yeah.
lot of it too. But remains to be seen.
Well,
Early
we'll have a
adopters,
whole
like
nother
always,
round of it
beware.
soon, Chambers.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Always wait for 2.0. 1.0 always has too much shit. Just saying.
Or even you don't always have to wait for 2.0. You can just let the first production runs get out the factory. Let it simmer a little bit. Give yourself like 6 months. Because they're not going to stay on the shelves for that long. So by the time you get your hands on one, even if you wait like a little bit, you'll probably have some kind of revision that they don't talk about.
Sometimes the best action could also be waiting 20.0, like Acclaim did when they went bankrupt 20 years ago.
Son of a.
So, in news that if you would have told me weird headlines, I could have never expected. Iconic game publisher Acclaim has been resurrected with wrestler Jeff Jarrett as advisor.
Double
Of
J. Slapnuts coming to the
oh,
rescue. It's my
fuck.
world.
I thought he was going to keep making failed wrestling franchises and federations.
Oh, right. Are you besmirching Global Force Wrestling? Is that what you're trying to do over here?
Didn't even know that was a thing, Jim. So yeah, I'll besmirch the shit out of it.
Yeah, that was kind of a disaster. For a
That's
short
also
time,
just a terrible name, Global Force.
it turned into a Cash for Gold outfit too. Once the wrestling side of it actually failed. Double J's had an interesting run, Brian. But
But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Acclaim, which, yeah, when I think of Acclaim, license games and a lot of the WWF games. And, you know, they were my childhood. I will say that. With Genesis, with Super NES, with the NES, like, I my mind goes to a lot, and we covered a lot of these games, like through games we played, the Alien games, as I said, license games, fucking Mortal Kombat. Um, but I had forgotten Like I was like, yeah, I knew they went away. I wasn't sure how long. I didn't realize it was 20 years, which made me go, oh fuck. Um, but yeah, Jeff Jarrett is like, yeah, I was involved with them back in WWE, and they made so many great wrestling titles. I was like, well, there's lie number fucking one. I was like, let's back that the fuck up for one second.
Debatable.
And like, other than Royal Rumble, was it Royal Rumble or was it Raw? Like, he was in like what, one game?
I believe he was in Attitude.
Was he in that too? Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. So he's decided to get back involved in helping this resurrection effort, which, there's part of me that's like, okay, what could they bring back? And it, they have some good games. I'm not shitting on them and making it sound like they were bad. Like I said, they were our childhood. But honestly, what could they bring back? Unless, do they still have the buying power to do license games at this point? Like, what are they going to come up with, Jim?
Well, I mean, back in the day, Acclaim was mainly a publisher. It wasn't a developer. So, a lot of their games, like you said, it was a ton of either arcade ports or console ports or just licensed stuff. So with that, it's almost like LJN, where you're going to get a lot of bad, but you're going to get some good in there too. But their plan, according to CEO Alex Joseph, former founder and CEO of Graffiti Games, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion, a game I've never heard of. Is there nothing this article could have referenced back to? But either way, the publisher says that its initial goals are to support indie developers and reignite classic franchises, providing funding, marketing, and PC support to indie studios. Then it goes on to talk about how they were, known for their licensed games. And it says to accomplish this, an advisory board of esteemed industry leaders has been set up to shape the publisher's future, with board members including Russell Binder of Striker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan of Ridge Partners, and of course, Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
What a group, Jim.
It's
What
it's
a
a who's
group.
who, Brian. It's a murderer's row.
Yeah, I'm gonna
They
root
they
for it, not
they
because
have
of
to
Jeff
do the
Jarrett,
next AEW game. They have to do the next AEW game. Jeff
which
Jarrett
is
is having
fine.
a career renaissance, a little in a way. He has that old man, we finally appreciate him kind of thing going on as a legacy wrestler. He's probably like more appreciated now than he's ever been through his entire career, I guess. Just maybe because he's also so different than the rest of AEW's roster too. But yeah,
Isn't AEW just like a dumpster fire at this point?
they are a mixed bag. They are struggling and hurting with their attendance and reviews and views, but for the most part, their pay-per-views always crush it. But there's always something that's a big stain. Like they just had their pay-per-view over the weekend, and from what I hear, the entire card was fucking great,
Hmm.
except for the main event, which is an absolute disaster, and it's all anyone's talking about. So all these other great talented wrestlers basically killed themselves in their like these bloody crazy matches, beat the shit out of their bodies for Moxley and Cope to fucking stink up the joint. So
Hmm.
good job, Tony Khan.
um, yeah, I felt like they had their hot streak in like, I'll say 21 to 23, and I feel like, or even I'll say give them 24, but like I feel like they
No,
fizzled
24,
out.
24 was rough on him.
Yeah, they were already fizzling out, and I feel like now they're, in my very outside the box what I see of wrestling Twitter, I'm like, yeah, they seem to be going nowhere. So to your
Right,
point,
all the bad times happened for them when they got rid of a certain wrestler and blamed him for all their problems. It's weird. They were
things
super
happen, Jim.
they were super hot during the anyone but Vince era, but then WWE got rid of Vince and it started to be a decent product again. So that only went so far. Then a certain guy came in, made some big waves. Certain guy left, made some big waves. Went to another company, makes big waves there. Other company never recovered. You tell me, Brian.
You tell me.
Hypothesis, experiment, results. All right, man of science.
I don't like Double J. I I love to hate him back in the day when when he was the whole slap nuts thing. His best part of him was Deborah, and she outshone him. at some point. Um, I felt like you could tell he was a guy that thought he was better than everyone he was with. And I don't know, for one reason or another, I never clicked with him. Other than loving seeing him get the shit kicked out of him in multiple casket matches with The Undertaker. He
He
was
had a bunch
always
of
the guy
casket
that
matches.
no, he would always go against Yokozuna, but Jeff Jarrett would come in and interfere, but still get fucked up somehow. So I always like those. But yeah, uh, Jeff Jarrett aside, I want to see something good come out of this, and maybe we'll get back to some more Simpsons games. Maybe we'll get some other licenses. I don't know.
I
Bring
mean,
it back, Chambers.
I know Simpsons isn't what it obviously was, 20 years ago. Is it
No,
almost weird
not
that
at
there's
all.
not been a real game since the Simpsons game around the movie? Like
Yeah, and what was that? Oh six, oh
six or
seven?
seven, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, shit, we covered them all, and they haven't been back since.
Yeah, I mean they had their tapped out game, which people loved, but besides that, just weird.
I like that game, but yeah, I think to your point, I think it's played out. I can't imagine the ratings are very good for them, but maybe they're just enough for it's like keep it like the streak's been alive, like just keep it rolling for as long as till I don't know whoever else needs to die off.
Oh, and speaking of, like they literally can't do a game now because if you listen to any recent Simpsons episodes or clips,
I'm sure it's terrible.
they
Like
all
the voice
sound
acting is probably
so
rough, right?
old. They sound like Harry Shearer can't change his voice at all for Flanders. Like he just sounds like Harry Shearer now. Like Julie Kavner, just like she should just not open her mouth anymore. Like it's like obviously the raspiness was always her thing, but like it's unlistenable. It's real. It's like sad. It's like just let these poor old rich
Let it
people
go.
retire for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that has to be the longest running show of all time, right?
Yeah, it is. At least
Yeah.
for a
And
sitcom.
then, well, it's funny because I don't know if you still watch It's Always Sunny, but that's the longest running live action show now. That's
Yeah,
like 20 years or whatever. And it's funny because
of
there are
all
still
shows.
there's still glimmers of like it's still them and they're writing. But like you said, just the age, the aspect, there is a point where I go, I kind of want you guys to stop, but as far as like more edgy comedies, like they're still like that's it. It's them in South Park at this point. So yeah, all things come to an end, Chambers.
Right, we don't even have young Sheldon anymore. What even is life?
You know my hatred for Big Bang. You know my hatred for all associated things with it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Why were you mad that it was blackface for nerds?
Wait, what? What? What?
Oh, oh, there is discourse that you missed back in the day, Bry.
I've never actually watched a single episode. I've seen the funny clips. I've hated that show always.
There was a
Period.
time when internet nerds legitimately said that they hated it because it was blackface for nerds.
What does that even mean?
Right, it's like a minstrel show, but for nerds.
What the fuck does that mean? The concepts are like so nerds were mad at the show because
The most the most stereotypical derogatory representations of their kind, race.
oh god damn it. Ah, oh, I hate nerds even more now. I that just I hate the show even more. I hate it all. I hate it all, Jim.
You know
Damn
what,
you for
everyone?
saying young Sheldon.
We didn't have a normie view plan for this week, but we just gave you a quick little mini one, and Brian's will has been broken. So my job's done here.
I just hate that term, the blackface of nerd culture. That just broke my brain a little bit. What the fuck? We're fucking moving on to some 20 best Switch games because we just covered it from our buddies, the top 10 best Switch exclusives. And
My buddy's a palette swap.
I, I gotta be honest here. The list is from Rolling Stone, but the tweet is from Stealth 40K.
Yeah,
Um,
just go to the tweet and save yourself having to read a long-winded
don't
article
read,
because who
yeah,
needs that?
that's what I was gonna say. Um, Now, be
These are
forewarned,
these aren't
these are not
exclusives. One,
exclusive. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I was gonna say. So they're not exclusives, but I gotta say, eyeballing the list, I was right away like, yeah, this list makes more sense. Like, I hate to say the term more sense, but I'm like, it's almost verbatim what we said. Like, hey, should Tetris 99 be higher up there? Your feeling of Metroid Dread being higher up there? Um, I don't know if it's a bold thing. Like, I know Breath of the Wild is Breath of the Wild. I wasn't sure where it stood with Tears of the Kingdom. Like, to me, you can swap either one, right? Like, and I think for that reason, I still probably feel like Mario Odyssey should be number one because at least it's more unique against those games. But I see this has Animal Crossings, has Splatoon 3,
well, Brian,
has
instead of just naming them all out of order, let's just go through the order real fast.
go ahead, you son of a bitch.
All right, number 20, Luigi's Mansion 3. Sure.
Yep.
Number 19, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I know a lot of people who love that game, and it was such considered a very fresh take on the Pokemon franchise. So I'm cool with that being there.
Yeah. I think for just having one Pokemon game, it makes sense.
I would say that deserves to be there more than new Pokemon Snap. Fudge. But you know
Yes.
what? We all like what we likes. All right. Number 18, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That is one I want to
Get
definitely get around to playing one day. What,
get it out of there.
bruh? At first, I thought you just said gay.
Damn it, Jim. You're the hateful one on here.
Hateful. Me. What? Number 17, Bayonetta 3. I mean, the
I
most
thought
I
that
ever heard
game
it.
got shit on. I know there was a controversy, but I thought it like didn't get great reviews. I thought it was like, it's an okay game.
Yeah, that's what I kind of heard. Like the most you ever heard about was the voice actor discussion before the game came out, and that all
Yeah.
controversy. But then when it came out, it was like, eh. So I don't know. That might be a little too generous there. 16,
Hmm.
Mario Maker 2. People definitely did not like it as much as one, from what I know. Might be a little high, but I guess it should be on there. Number 15, Pikmin 4. Might be a little, might be a little low, but uh, you'll be the judge. Number 14, Monster Hunter Rise. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, so I cannot comment.
But I'll say put it on there because people love the shit out of that series. So sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Number 13, Astral Chain. I did not like that game. I have it. It's by Platinum Studios, and if you know anything about Platinum, they have like hits 20% of the time and crap 80% of the time. But the hits are some of the most like loved niche kind of games that are out there. I I thought it was it just never grabbed me. The main gimmick is like using your stick to like wrap your chain, your astral chain around enemies to like help weaken them and crap like that. It was a sandboxy-ish game. It was a cool concept, but I was just like, this feels cumbersome. That's my problem with a lot of Platinum games. But some people who love it really seem to love it. So maybe it's just one that's not for me.
And I never heard of it, so it shouldn't be on there.
Fair enough. Next up, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. One I need to play still.
You know me when I see multiple from the same franchise, even if they're drastically different games, it either needs to be higher, closer to 20 on the list, or not on the list at all. Just my opinion.
All right. Next up, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm sure that'll be on a ton of these lists towards the end of the
Yep.
Switch life. 10, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I've heard nothing
I've
but good things, so I
yeah,
can't argue it.
I've never played Xenoblade. Number 9, Splatoon 3. I've never played a Splatoon. I know people love them. So sure.
Yeah, it's what we called out. We said, how are you going to make a Switch exclusive without the one, like, kind of shooterish game?
Yep. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I guess it's this low because it's, just an expansion of a Wii U game, but it's a hell of a game. It lasted the entire life.
Yeah, it's always minimum top 10 with Mario Kart, so I'm actually okay. Maybe they were being clever because it's number 8 and it's number 8.
Touche. Touche, sir. Number 7, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, it's the biggest COVID game, so sure.
Yeah,
Number 6, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, the thing, these two games, it's either you either like Breath of the Wild more for how new and inventive it was, or Tears of the Kingdom for how it refined the gameplay. So it's really take your pick at that point.
I I hate. I just said it before. I hate games that, and I'm gonna get shit for this. They're basically the same game. It's just one has more Build-A-Bear features to it. So, not shitting on it. I'm just saying, like, you could have just left one of these.
I don't even think you're going to get a lot of
I
shit
get
for
the
that.
inclusion of I get the inclusion of both of them, but I'm like, especially now you're already in the top 10. So I'm just saying that's me.
Yeah,
You may
I
disagree.
I I am actually going to agree and say it should have just been one of these games because they are
Yeah,
unlike Mario Odyssey, which we're going to get to. Spoiler, I guess, and Wonder. Like those are two extremely 100% different games. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like Tears is basically an expansion pack. It's a full size
that's kind
expansion
of
pack, but it's an
like a
expansion.
really awesome power feature and build or whatever, but like you can't tell me the games that other than that mechanic, you can't tell me the game's that much different because
Yeah, I don't
it's
even think
not.
people like the story more than the first one. No one ever talks about it. So, yeah.
No.
Number 5, Smash Ultimate. An obvious.
Yep,
Number 4,
absolutely.
Tetris 99. I am perfectly fine with that placement. Number 3, Mario Odyssey. I mean, the top three are all going to be debatable. So it's pick your poison. So 3, Mario Odyssey. 2, Metroid Dread. 1, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm fine with that listing. I probably would have had Mario Odyssey at 1, but I mean, Breath of the Wild, it helped kickstart the Switch into being the monster it is. So you can't take that away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dread, like I said, I think I hate on that more for it seems like too short of a Metroid game, regardless of what you said, like how smooth the combat is, for it to be, number two. But
Well,
that's just
Bry,
me.
might be time for you to play it, Bry. Might be time to shut up, you dirty whore.
But yeah, no, it's a solid. Like I said, this is a list where I go. There was no like Palette Swap had those ones that were you and I went like, what is this? And that's what makes lists great, right? Like sometimes you throw in ones that everyone goes, what are you talking about? I think this one was a very straightforward. No one would really bat an eye. Really, like there's a few like Astral Chain and whatever, but for the most part, you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. No, I agree. It's a solid list. So, uh, I mean, there's really nothing they got to apologize for there. Unlike other people, Bry, who's got some explaining to do.
It's your boy Jim. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, I went to the wrong guy. I thought the other guy. It's apologizing.
Damn it! I was like, since when is fucking Hyperkin my boy? I mean, I have
Yeah,
a Retron. I like my Retron, but yes. So Hyperkin, they have been around forever. For those who don't know, making their third-party peripherals and consoles and clone systems for ages. Like them or not, I think Hyperkin has been a very big part of the retro gaming revival that we've had over the
yeah,
past
for
15, 20
sure.
years. Like they were the first ones to make those retro duos and retro trios where you could play, decently play your old NES games and Super NES games and crap like that. So the 5, for as many problems and controversies as it had, it was a big deal when it came out. And it's still like a convenient piece of kit for people like us, even though there's like a
Yeah,
billion better emulation solutions at this point. It's still like it's how I play Famicom games in my collection. Like I don't have a Japanese Famicom, but I can just plop it into that slot. So bingo bango. But yes, they have had a lot of controversy for the build quality of their systems, for the compatibility issues of their systems, and pardon me, for the overall quality of their systems over the years. Most notably, recently the Xbox Duke controller redo that they put out there that tons of people were excited about, and apparently they're just cheaply made. They break super fast, all kinds of problems. So they put out an official letter from the Hyperkin team on March 6th saying, "We owe you an apology. This is to our fans and community. The Hyperkin team has taken time to reflect on our values as a company. We have overpromised and underdelivered. We failed to properly communicate and let down countless fans in the community with our lack of transparency. We are sincerely sorry. Our previously announced guitars are examples of us failing to communicate. There is no excuse, and we take full responsibility for these mistakes. Trust is earned, not given, and we recognize that we have a lot of work to do to earn yours back with our modern guitar controller that is still being worked on. It's time to break the habit. Our past administration was eager to announce projects early in development, will no longer set an example for the new team we are building here at Hyperkin. Many changes have been made over the past 6 months. As this new team gets a bearing on the current situation, we will make it our sole mission to be better than before. Here's what you can count on: transparency. We will only share product updates when they are absolutely confident in the progress. Consistent connection. If a hiccup does arise, we will keep you informed more regularly to ensure that you're never left guessing. And uncompromising quality. It is our mission to improve our quality control and reach out to the community for feedback when possible. Our goal is to deliver hardware that exceeds expectations. For every victory, there will be an announcement. For every shortcoming, there will be a statement. Thank you to our fans, supporters, and multiple communities that have put up with our missteps. We don't want to fail you again. As the new Hyperkin, we are open, we are here, and we will strive to be better. Best, the Hyperkin team.
Yeah. First blush, it's a company just trying to be like, we know we fucked up. We're going to try to do better. And boy, did their fans not let them have it. Like, just thing after thing is like, I'm still waiting for a competitive controller. Undelete the free Fryron controller case tweet. Just make an OG Xbox player. I don't care about any of this. Like, just, but here's a funny thing is Hyperkin took the time to answer a lot of these, like right
Yeah.
off the bat.
I mean, they're
So
also trying to fix their PR too because they were very finicky and little bitchy reply guys back in the day to a lot of people who would reach out to them. So, I mean,
is this, I mean, you hate to say, is it like, did a company, a retro gaming company, finally, are they just trying to do the right thing and we're so jaded that we're like, still deep down, we're like, fuck these guys? But, or is it like, no, they're making a good faith effort here? Like, time will tell. Did they do these corrections? Did they go through? How else would you be able to try to convey to your audience or your fans, like, we're trying to do the right thing? Yeah, we know things have been messed up, but we're sorry. Here's what we're going to do. It seems more clear, I'll say, than what we've seen from some other companies.
yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I guess it's obviously on them to put up or shut up because their reputation is dirt right now. So it can only go up from here.
I
I
think
don't know.
so.
Probably not. I'm
I
not buying their shit.
I'm not in, like, the one system I have from Hyperkin works amazing. I have no issues with it. I can't say anything negative. I don't know all the backgrounds and all the other shit that might have fucked up, so not saying they don't, but my experience with them has been fine. But like you said, I look at them as like the standard of like, yeah, are there maybe better emulating options? Sure, but for something that has so many slots that seamlessly kind of works, I can't think of a better option for all those old systems that you can just plug and play basically.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So yeah.
there's the Game Freak, but that's only like released in Japan, and you gotta import it and do some like text mods and shit like flashing and stuff like that. So, yeah, for a North American audience, it's weird that more people don't try to do that. But I guess once the Mister came out, they're like, what's the point? Everyone will just download the ROMs anyway and do that. Like we had the Polymega disaster and all that. That's really been the only one since, and even that was way too late to the party.
But are all those as easy to use as the Hyperkin?
No, they're
Is
not.
it all plug? Yeah, that's my point. Like, there's like a lot more like input you need to do. So
But
yeah,
Bry,
I think
speaking
for
of
ease of use,
Yeah, I agree. But Bry, speaking of input and speaking of ease of use and retro and FPGAs, let's talk about the Super Sega once again, Brian.
your
What a
boy.
week they have had. Our boy. So the video link will be below to good old Video Game Esoterica, who's been doing a great job of just covering this story for months now, it seems. There are actually a couple updates where a good old, as he likes to call him lovingly, Uncle Alejandro. released a video saying that they were no longer working on the Super Sega and they were just working on like a general FPGA solution. But now they're coming back and saying that they're going to be working on the Super Sega again. And that it's a different kind of FPGA console now. It'll probably just be strictly FPGA and not like with all the ROMs and disk drives and all that bull crap. And so I love the video that he posted because it shows Alejandro's announcement that he did from his Lamborghini outside that's nigh unlistenable. And but like apparently he was weirdly honest with stuff. So apparently he's almost returned all the money for the pre-orders for this Super Sega, the original one that he did. It's not been confirmed yet, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because there's enough negativity in the world right now, Brian. Until we hear different, we can report later.
Fuck that. Give him the negativity. Give him all the smoke, Jim. He
Brian,
deserves it.
he looks. Have you seen his suit, Brian?
Jim.
He drives a Lambo.
Once again, this is a guy you look at and you're like, when's it gonna come out? There were some crazy accusations against him or some shit that he did in his past. Like, in general, yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. You know what? Judge this fucking book by its cover. Judge it all the way by its cover, and you know what you're getting with this guy.
Right. Far be it from me to say that he's the Andrew Tate of retro Sega over here, but I'm just saying. Drives around in cars he might or might not own, gets his money in underhanded ways. He's not a raper. At least he's got that going for him.
Okay, so right there, you just cemented the fact that he might be, because as you've said in the past, about certain folks, you've been very wrong. Like Kevin Spacey being your boy, and he can do no wrong. I'm just saying you have a very bad track record with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say you just condemn this guy.
That is the kiss of death right there. Sorry, Alejandro. It's all down here from here. But yeah, apparently he released a video and he actually did have some like real points that you would say as a guy working on these systems. So he had an example about talking about the Cyclone FPGA system that they're going to be using for the Super Sega now. And I'm no expert on this, but just going from what Esoterica said, like Alejandro said it's not going to work with the Dreamcast, which Cyclone famously doesn't. So at least that's honest. You know, backtracking from his previous statements of being able to make a system that'll work with the Dreamcast. Like little things here and there like that. So again, this is a guy with a very terrible reputation whose name is basically in the mud at this point. But for the first time, he's somewhat saying the right things in a video. So, like, I know it's no one that I would ever give money to, but it could be a thing where time will tell. No, Brian, did you see me put money towards the first Super Sega? No,
I saw you thinking about it.
I did not. I might have mentally dabbled, but I never. How dare you, sir? What I ponder and don't ponder is none of your goddamn business. All right.
I know your pondering ways.
Listen, but
yeah, if this guy, what I really want is I want this guy, as we're saying, the video game Esoterica, to, if he's really going to get sent a copy of a review unit, cool. Let's see it. I feel like this guy, as you pointed out, has been reporting on it very detailed, very well. Of anyone that is supporting this Alejandro guy, get the fuck out of here. Like, pull your money if you haven't already. Get a refund if it's possible, which I don't think it is in most cases. But for fuck's sake, I don't care what pivot point he goes on. Do not be one of the ones supporting it up front. Just don't. Come on, guys.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost like supporting Watermelon Games and Fonzie. It's just like, you kind of know what to expect at this point. Like, a fool in their money, Bri. We're soon parted. And the retro scene is full of well-wishers and hopeful bastards, but just don't do it.
Don't do it. Save your money for something else.
You'll never be able to play your Paprium on your Super Sega, all right? It's not going to happen.
Don't be like Jim. Listen to me, and things will work out for you. That's all I'm going to say. Walk straight. Don't be a penguin.
I was too far gone at that point, Brian. I'll have you know. It's not my fault. It's my parents' fault for not putting me into Forrest Gump races.
That's all I needed.
Jim. I was a nerdy enough weird kid with no friends. All right. Well, I was going to have less than no friends. No, just give me the braces. Let my feet work right.
You had chapters to read.
Chapters to memorize. Cite back to mama. And then I
So
would
yeah,
have my sketties.
damn it. Don't support it, guys. Trust in me. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, Chambers. So to close out the episode, something you've been calling for, and as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we have a new patron. Good old Randy from the Rich Dickman Show. He is back with us. He left us a voicemail, so we're going to go ahead and play it. Starting in three, two, one.
Hello, it's Randy from the Rich Dickman Show calling in as your new patron. I was listening to you guys and was motivated to, go ahead and support you because you're doing awesome work. I thoroughly enjoyed your last episode, and now I want to try StarCraft 2. And I'm also considering starting a beer journey. I've never really been a beer drinker. So what would you guys recommend that I try? Other than that, we've been busy on the Rich Dickman Show, putting out quality content if you want to check it out. I appreciate you guys and hope you have a great episode. Bye.
All right. So, first of all, thank you once again, Randy, for supporting us once again on our Patreon. And as we've said before, we've had the boys from the Rich Dickman Show on the channel. Make sure you check them out. We got their links below. They make great content, opposite of what Randy was saying. But yeah, Chambers, to start a beer journey, I kind of feel like, man, like you can't just throw a really good beer because you kind of have to appreciate the shit, right? Like it took us a while to really like we hated IPAs for a little while, and then eventually it grows on you, and all the nuances of the million styles. Like I kind of feel like go through the macros, understand what the general shit is, and then start with your buds, your millers, your coors, switch over. Honestly, I'd fucking throw hams in there. You and I have said like that thing is fucking surprisingly good, and
Yep.
then move on to like Yingling, Sam Adams, and then slowly like inch your way, and then dip your toes into flavored beers. Like we always had Blue Moons, Leinenkugels, all these things that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can have orange flavor in my beer. I can have this. Make sure you have Guinness. Make sure you try stouts. Like, start figuring out, like, oh, okay, I kind of like a chocolate or coffee flavor, or I like fruit. I like sours. I like, and then curtail it. But I would say start with the shit. So that way you have an appreciation, you have a basis, a foundation. Not saying drink a bunch of it, but like, get yourself a sixer. Try it out. Figure out which macro you like, and that will help inform where you'll lead. That'd be my first guess.
Yeah, and I was actually going to say a lot of what Brian said. Definitely work your way up. Yeah, I mean macros to honestly getting over that Sam Adams hump. I think is a big part of like a craft beer liker's journey. Because when I only just drank like Budweiser and Coors Light, I would have a regular Sam Adams lager and be like, oh my God, what is this? This is way too much for me. Nowadays the Sam Adams is nothing. It's fine. It's enjoyable. But yeah, work your way up, take it slow. Even when you start to get into the craft scene, try to keep it lighter. Keep it to the lagers and the pilsners. Maybe do a porter here and stuff like that. Do not jump straight into IPAs. I can guarantee you will hate them. Even now, like Brian and I are connoisseurs, you could say. Like we are well versed in the art of an IPA. We can enjoy an IPA here and there. But even then, there's still some where we just go, eh, it's at best we go, it's just an IPA, and at worst, it's just like even that. Some things can just be obnoxious and just try too hard
Yeah.
to set itself apart by being too much of a like hop explosion or a bittery mess, stuff like that. Don't listen to any beer snobs out there. The best thing you can do for yourself is to make your own taste and flavor. What you like is what you like at the end of the day. It's way better to enjoy the beers that you enjoy instead of liking it just because you think you should like it. That I
Yeah.
think that's like the most important
And
lesson.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like try porters, try stouts, try like once you get over that initial hump of the lagers, like try the other styles so you kind of know where you're going with it, right? Like try to figure out okay, like I know for sure sours aren't my thing, or I know for sure this, and you can always change your opinion later on. Do the styles that are more agreeable, pilsners, kolsches, like the easy drinking style. Even Irish red ales are pretty good for that. But try it out, see what you like, and yeah, just don't read the hype. Don't read into what's a good beer. Pick what you think looks interesting and take it from there.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of trial and error until you figure out what you like. But you know what? Godspeed, man, because there is so many options out there that you'll never walk into a store and go, "Oh, I've had everything." That just does not happen in the beer world.
Yeah. So, thank you once again for support. Support the guys over at the Rich Dickman Show. Make sure you check the links below for that. And with that, guys, we want to say
Right.
have a good.
Right. You dirty whore.
Go on.
Before we do that, and if you want to leave a voicemail out there, make sure to leave us a
Yeah.
call at 267-991-0156. Again, that number, 267-991-0156. We love to hear from you.
Yep. Good call. And guys, once again, thank you so much for listening, for watching. Please make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell, the subscription, leave us a like, leave us a comment. Make sure you interact with us. Let us know what you like and what you don't like. If you're listening on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, hit the subscription. It would mean the world to us. And if you leave us a comment, we'll read it on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.